ChefSawyer.com. Are you ready, kids? Ooh-wee, welcome back to Chef Sawyer Sunday. I'm Chef Sawyer, aka Sawyer the Destroyer, aka Iron Arm. Very special video today. I'm gonna show all my followers how to make a beautiful burger. Thick cut bacon, onions, because nothing is better with a burger than beer battered onion rings. That's why I got a handy beer, whatever beer you got around the house, and you don't need beer either. You can substitute it with seltzer water. Extra sharp white cheddar cheese, beautiful brioche buns, butter lettuce, the most crunchiest, greenest, beautiful lettuce you'll ever come across. I have a red onion here because we're gonna be making some red onion marmalade to top our burgers off. Let's go ahead and get this started. The first order of business is to go ahead and start our red onion marmalade. That's what's gonna take the longest. Take off both ends of the onion, cut it in half, peel that outside skin, thinly slice your onion. Put all of your red onions into a pan, a pot, whatever you got lying around. A little bit of red wine, just enough to cover the bottom of the pan and let them cook down. Some black pepper and salt. And then I have about 3 tablespoons of white vinegar and 3 tablespoons of sugar. Give it a mix. Throw that on a medium heat and let the onions cook down and reduce. And the red wine and the sugar will melt together and become a nice, thick, syrupy glaze. It's delicious. Step number 2, prepare our onion rings. Remove the tops and the bottoms. These are sweet onions because a little bit of sweetness in your onion ring is always a good thing. And then peel the outside skins. You want to take your onion, and when you see it sectioning into rings, make a nice thick slice. I don't know about you guys, I like thick onion rings. This is a great size. And the good thing about the sweet onion is it's not too oniony in flavor. Big pieces of onions like this won't be overpowering or make you want to cry or anything like that. Pop the rings off. These are gonna make some really nice onion rings. Onion ring, onion ring, onion ring, onion ring. It's raining onion rings. Hallelujah, it's raining onion rings. Here's our massive plate of onion rings. And we're just gonna make our nice beer batter, toss them in there and give them a nice quick fry, and it's gonna be excellent. I just took a few pieces of bacon, I threw them on a lined sheet tray, and I'm gonna pop it in the oven, 375 degrees, about 10 to 15 minutes, depending on how crispy you like it. Here we have the beef for our burger. This is a 75-25 blend, which means 75% meat, 25% fat. Now fat, of course, always translates to flavor. The more fat content, the more flavorful it's gonna be. Small clumps of our ground beef, squeezing it with my hands and rotating it until we get a nice little ball of ground beef. This is gonna be a perfect size for our burger because we're making smash burgers. So you're looking for something that's about 1 to 3 ounces each. And what smash burgers are great for is stacking many of them on top of themselves. This is a perfect burger right there. And we're gonna leave it in ball form just like that. This is not a very difficult burger. This is not the most complex you will ever see. It's very simple ingredients. Now the smell of the marmalade is intoxicatingly delicious. I have the smell of sweet red wine filling up my entire house. And just everything together, good ingredients in proper moderation, is what's gonna give you a great burger. Not by overdoing it with tons of crazy sauces and bacon wrapping your burger and putting a deep fried lobster tail on there. All of that is really unnecessary. If you guys like to have good quality food, then you just need to keep it simple and you need to start with good quality ingredients. Here I have all the necessary ingredients to make our beer batter. You need beer. Now, the second part of the beer batter is gonna be your dry components, your flour, your cornstarch. You're gonna add 1 cup of flour. I have here a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. That's gonna give your dish some nice extra crispiness. Crack 1 beaten egg. Crack 1 beaten egg. Crack 1 egg into there. How can you beat the egg before you crack it? Now we're just gonna add beer slowly and mix it up until it's the perfect consistency that you want it. And we like our beer batter to be a little bit thin so it can get nice and crispy. So if you get a little too much beer in there, it's too thin, No problem, add a little bit more flour. If your beer batter is a little too thick, no problem, add a little bit more beer. You need your beer to be cold. This is looking watery, but that might be right where we want it. So it's time to do a test onion ring and just make sure. We're gonna take one of our onion rings, dredge it in a little bit of white flour, all-purpose flour, into the beer batter and into our hot 350-degree oil. This is just the test ring to make sure your consistency on your batter is good, but you want it to coat the ring loosely just like that, so we can have a nice crispy result. This is what the red onion marmalade looks like after it's been cooking down for some time. Soft, red, and sweet. Here's our onion ring test. We got crunches and pops and crackles all around the exterior. It's nice and light and crispy. You'll be able to hear it. That looks pretty good to me. I'm just gonna give it a shot. It's nice and crispy, it's cooked perfectly, and now that we know our batter is the perfect consistency, all we have to do is season it right now. Into our dredged flour, I'm just gonna add only salt. I'm gonna add a little bit to the batter as well. I'm gonna add some black pepper to the batter. Here I have some smoked paprika. I'm gonna throw a little sprinkle of that into the batter. That's gonna give it great flavor and great color. Here I have a little bit of ground garlic with some parsley in it. Garlic powder or onion powder will work the exact same. And now we whisk that up. We're gonna come into our flour with just a good couple handfuls of onion rings right now. Shake it up, mix it up with your hands, make sure they all get nice and coated in our flour. And throw them right into the batter, just like this. And you just wanna make sure they all get nice and fully coated. Toss them lightly in our beer batter and make sure they're all covered. And now one by one they go right into the hot oil. Mix them up a little bit, you don't want them sticking together, and you don't want to overcrowd your pan either. And as soon as they're light and brown and crispy, take them out of the oil and put them right onto a sheet tray lined with some paper towels. We have absolutely massive, crispy, crunchy onion rings that are just perfect. Here you can see our light, airy, crispy onion rings. Look at that. The crust is almost falling off, but it hasn't. Even these thin, flimsy ones still hold their shape when I stand them up. All these little flaky bits around the edges, these are all emblematic of your perfect onion ring. Give them a light salt, and then they're magnifique. Every great burger starts with a toasted bun. So we have our hot pan, a little bit of bacon grease is on there. We're gonna put our buns on top and bottom and just press them down firm. On a hot heat, that's gonna take about 30 seconds to 1 minute just to get them nice and crispy. And that's where you wanna be. Crispy. Crispy. Once our buns are toasted and brown just like that, and they receive some nice color, reserve them to the side. We have our smash burgers here. Now it's a smash burger because we're about to smash them, you'll see. A generous amount of salt. Put it on the hot pan, and we're gonna press down until it's flat. And now we're gonna cover it with more salt on top. And what's great is we can do many of these without getting too full because they're so small. First one, it should be pretty crispy by now. Look at that, that's perfect. And that's why you want this on such a high heat. And now we're gonna take our patties, we're gonna stack them up, finish with our extra sharp, thick sliced white cheddar. That cheese is gonna be a little hard to melt. That's why we're gonna go ahead and take a third patty and stack it right on top. The amount of meat still adds up to be about one burger itself. It's time to assemble our perfect sandwiches. Beautifully toasted buns. We put a little base of Bib lettuce on the bottom to protect the bun from getting soggy. We come over with our gorgeous triple stack burgers with our sharp white cheddar. That's looking excellent. We have two thick cut pieces of our nice smoky bacon right on top. Our crispy cheesy burger. Two pieces of thick, smoky, juicy bacon right on top. Homemade red onion marmalade. This will provide some acidity, some sweetness, and it's gonna pair perfectly with our juicy bacon, our crispy meat, our thick, rich cheese. And that's looking good. Give the man his hat. And boom. Those are the Chef Sawyer approved smash burgers with the homemade red onion marmalade. And it's just a picture perfect sandwich. I mean, seriously, take a picture. This sandwich is perfect for so many reasons. The bun, perfectly toasted. Burgers, perfectly crisped up. The bacon adds a nice smokiness to it. The onion marmalade has a nice sweetness. And we have that extra sharp white cheddar just in there to tie it all up. And then paired with the onion rings, I mean, you can't beat it. It's just the perfect combination of flavors that'll have you saying, I can't wait to see Chef Sawyer Sunday next week. And for that, I thank you. I wanted to thank each and every one of you for continuously coming back here to support me. I appreciate it so much. And go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. I love you all. See you next week.